The last lesson of Unit 8 is Lesson 6, determining the APR. So we've usually been given what the APR is and then use that to calculate things, and this time we're going to be working a little bit backwards. So the way that we find the APR is the first thing we have to find is the finance charge per $100. And that amount is then found in this table down here. And then once we find that finance charge per $100, so let's say that our finance charge per $100 is 8.73, then we follow that all the way up to the top, and you can see that our APR would be 10.75. So there's two things that you have to know in order to find the APR. Number one, you have to find the finance charge, and number two, you have to figure out what the amount financed is. So remember, the finance charge is the amount that you are charged in order to borrow money. That's how banks and lending institutions make their money. The other thing that you have to know is how much was financed, which means how much you're borrowing. So the cost of something is not always how much you are financing, because sometimes you put down a down payment before you take out the loan. So the other thing you have to think about when you're looking at this finance charge per $100 is you have to make sure that you're in the correct row. So depending on how long your loan is for, so let's say that if you had an 18-month loan and the number was 8.73, that would be 10.75. But let's say that your charge was 8.73, but it was in 24 months. So you would be looking for 8.73 in the 24-month row. And on the paper, there's multiple sections of this. It goes all the way from 2% all the way up to, I believe, like 18% maybe. So the first thing that we're going to look at, Justin obtained an installment loan of $1,500. So this amount right here, because it says that he obtained an installment loan of $1,500, this is the amount financed. Okay, so he's paying for a computer, which doesn't really matter. The finance charge is $146.25. So again, this piece of information is important. He agreed to repay the loan in 18 monthly payments. Okay, again, important information. And we want to find, using that information, we want to figure out what the annual percentage rate is. So the first thing we have to do is we have to figure out what the finance charge is per $100 of amount financed. So we're going to take the finance charge, which is that $146.25, and we're going to divide it by the amount that we borrowed. So that's $1,500. So 146.25, whoops. And then once we figure that out, we're going to multiply that times 100, and that's going to give us what our finance charge per 100 is. And so then we're going to use this chart to figure out what our APR is. So we're going to take 146.25, divide it by 1,500, multiply that times 100, and we get 9.75. So this is the finance charge per 100 of amount financed. So because we're making 18 monthly payments, we're going to look for this amount in this row. So 18 monthly payments, we're looking for 975, and we're going to find the one that's closest to it. So you see how this one lands between 956 and 977? Take the one that it's closest to and go up to the top. So our APR for this one is 15%.